In this video, we're going to learn the basics of using Excel to perform calculations. In the next video, we'll build on this and learn how to use cell references within our calculations and drag formulas down. So first, there's a difference between writing a formula in Excel and having it do a calculation for you and writing text in Excel. If I put my cursor in cell A1 and I start calculating just by typing 7 plus 85 minus 42, you'll notice in cell A1 you see the text 7 plus 85 minus 42. You also see the text appear in the formula bar at the same time. If I were to press enter right now, all Excel thinks I'm doing is writing text. So just typing numbers within a cell with operation symbols will not perform a calculation. So let me delete that out and try again. If I want Excel to perform a calculation for me, I need to start with an equal sign. I'm going to put my cursor in cell A1 and I'm going to start by typing equals. As soon as I type equals, Excel recognizes that I want it to perform a calculation. Now I need to type in exactly what I want it to calculate. So now I'm going to type equals 7 plus 85 minus 42. Again, you see this being written in cell A1. You also see it being written at the same time in the formula bar. When I press enter, it actually performs the calculation and you see the answer 50. Now, all I see now in cell A1 is the answer 50, but at any time you can click back into that cell. You'll notice in cell A1 it displays the answer 50, but up in the formula tab it tells you this is being calculated as 7 plus 85 minus 42. When you're typing in Excel, there's some basic operation symbols you'll use regularly. Of course, plus and minus can be found right on your keypad. You also may find that you need to use exponents. So I'm also now going to calculate 150 times 1.05 to the sixth. You notice when we type a calculation like this with a computer, like in Microsoft Word, we might not actually write the multiplication symbol between the 150 and the 1.05. So over here, I've typed it as 150 parentheses 1.05 to the sixth. Unfortunately, in Excel, you do need to remember to type those multiplication symbols. So to type that calculation, I'm going to put my cursor in cell A2. I'm asking Excel to perform a calculation. So I start by using equals. Now I type 150. I have to use a multiplication symbol. You can use that multiplication symbol on the number pad on your keyboard or find a multiplication symbol with Shift 8. So 150 times 1.05, and I need to raise it to the sixth power. So on your keypad, you want to use this little caret to produce an exponent. That's found with Shift 6. So a little caret to the sixth. So that represents 150 times 1.05 raised to the sixth power. Again, I see it there in cell A2. I also see it up in the formula tab. I press enter and it calculates it. Now this calculation actually has a lot of decimal places that we can display. Right now I have it set so I'm seeing 4 decimal places after the decimal point. If I were to drag the column and make it a little wider, you can see a little bit more. Sometimes we want to actually have Excel round by default the values that it gives in the cells. Sometimes you know that you're dealing with money and you want it to display the values as currency. To do all that, when you click on a cell or you click on a whole column of cells or a whole row of cells, you can right click, select Format Cells, and here in this first tab called Number, you see right now it says it's rounding general. There it is. You can select Number and have it round the value in the cell automatically to whatever set number of decimal places you like. You can change it to currency where it will actually list the $sign and round to the nearest cent by default. You can have it change everything in there into percentages. Okay, I'm just going to stick with general, but all those options are available to you for the different applications you may use Excel for. All right, and last I'm going to do one more. I'm going to have it calculate 12 divided by 2 times 3. Again, I'm going to put my cursor in cell A3. I want it to perform a calculation, so I first start with equals. I'm going to type 12. The division symbol is just the little slash, the forward slash on your keyboard. 12 divided by 2, and then times 3. Excel does understand order of operations, so it's going to move left to right. It's going to take 12 divided by 2 and get 6. Then it's going to take 6 and multiply it times 3 and get 18. So I press enter and it gives me 18. All right. Some calculations, in fact, a lot of calculations we do are going to involve a little bit more complicated calculations than what we are doing there. And we just need to be sure that we use parentheses very carefully when we're entering things in Excel. So for example, I'm going to perform this calculation with this fraction here. I want to take this entire numerator, 17 times 3 minus 189, divide by this entire denominator, 1300 minus 450. Now one way I could do that is I could have Excel do multiple steps. I could have it calculate the numerator, I could have it calculate the denominator, and then as a third step divide them all out, but we don't want to do that. We'd like to have it just do it all in one step. So what I want to make sure I do is wrap parentheses around this whole numerator so that it takes the entire numerator, and then I will wrap parentheses around the denominator so it takes the entire denominator, and it will divide them. So again, I'm going to put my cursor in cell A4. I need to start the calculation with an equal sign to tell Excel I want it to calculate. I'm going to put parentheses around my numerator like so. So it's going to take this entire numerator divided by parentheses around my entire denominator. Now you see it'll take all of this divided by all of this. And when I press enter, it calculates. Another place that we need to use parentheses carefully is when we're performing calculations involving exponents. So here we're going to see some calculations later in the course with finance where you have kind of messy exponents. I notice in this calculation, the exponent is the number negative 0.04 times 50. So one thing I could do is actually calculate that out first and then take a second step of calculating the whole. But again, I'd like to do this all in just one step. So I'm going to put my cursor in cell A5, start calculation with an equal sign, and again, I'm going to do a 3500. Don't forget to put a multiplication symbol between that 3500 and the 1.04. So 3500 times 1.04. I want an exponent, so I use the little caret. That's again right above your 6, so it's shift 6. And now be careful here, we need to put parentheses around the entire exponent, negative 0.04 times 50. So you see it's taking 1.04 raised to the entire exponent. Parentheses around it will make sure all of it gets up in the exponent. And I press enter. In the next video, we'll build on this and write formulas and calculations that reference other cells.